Hi everyone. In this video, we will walk you through the creation and maintenance of property tax calculations with the automated solution offered exclusively by Phoenix Business Consulting for the public sector. By pulling data from multiple sources, our development precisely calculates property taxes. So now you can say goodbye to human errors and welcome transparency, which empowers taxpayers with the confidence in their assessments. You'll stay compliant effortlessly as our system dynamically updates tax calculations based on ever-changing tax laws. Let's go ahead and dive into the solution. Our first step is to set up a configuration. We're going to head over to the Public Sector Taxation Work Center and go to the configuration area. Here we can click on New and create a new configuration. We have one completed here already for simplicity. To complete this, you provide a description for a reference. You define a default sender email, and that's for property tax related emails. Then you ensure that the status is active. Under customer invoice creation, we want to specify details like sales unit, distribution channel, payment terms, tax code, GL alias, chart of accounts, and GL account, which will serve as default for invoices generated. We can scroll down and verify that the millage district mapping is configured correctly. This includes millage district rates and tax factor mapping tables, which are properly maintained here. We can add rows here, but let's just discuss this in a little bit more detail. Millage district rates refer to the individual property tax rates assigned to each district, and those are held here. These rates are expressed in mils, where 1 mil represents 1/10 of a cent or 1/1000th of a dollar. The millage district rate is multiplied by the assessed value of a property to calculate the property tax owed within that specific district. Those rates are maintained here, and you can also hold your tax factors here. These are also known as assessment ratios or assessment percentages. These are used to adjust the assessed value of a property before applying the millage rate. Tax factors help account for differences between the assessed value and the taxable value, aiming to create a fair and equitable property tax system. By incorporating tax regulations and rules, entities in the public sector can stay compliant, and with millage rates and tax factors integrated into the system, they can track taxes at various levels, such as individual transactions, products, or regions, allowing for better insights in general. Once we've completed all of the required fields here, and we've entered all of the data, we can save those changes and then close. Note here that only one configuration can be active at a time. You can view the active configuration by hitting Edit. You can also copy a configuration by navigating to the public sector taxation area here, configuration, which is here, opening that active configuration, and then clicking on the copy button. This step establishes the foundation for accurate and efficient tax calculations and invoice generation within the SAP system. Inside an active configuration, as we saw earlier, we have the millage district rates tab, and we can add the row to create and fill in the necessary details. We have many different types that we can add. Alternatively to that, we can do an upload, and that's through an Excel template. We navigate to the Public Sector Taxation Work Center and go to File Manager. We see some of the entries here. Click on New. And here we're going to click on the Upload File Type and Action Type. We click on Upload Millage District Rates in this case, and navigate to the Attachments tab. Here we can attach our preferred template, which is an Excel file, and we attach that here and click on Add. We then read the file and click on Upload Millage District Rates from the action button there, and then verify the entries by navigating to this configuration and checking on the millage district rates table. We were able to verify that inside of the configuration area earlier when you click on Edit from an active configuration and go to the mapping tables there. Our next stage of this solution is creating and managing customer properties. Here we have the option to create a new customer property. And that's under the Public Sector Taxation Work Center, Customer Properties. For simplicity, we'll edit an existing customer property in this list, and we'll take a look at some of the fields that we need to populate. Instead of new, we'll click on Edit. And here, some of the fields include customer ID, homestead code, assessed value, and residential status. We provide details like the customer address, homestead number, agricultural status, and customer address here. Let's talk about this in a little bit more detail. The customer's address is, of course, the location where a customer resides. In addition to that, you could have a homestead number, and that's often used to identify a property that has been designated as a homestead, which is a dwelling, often a house, and its surrounding land. That land is owned and occupied by a family or individual as their primary residence. And that's a key detail. Homestead status can provide certain legal protections and tax benefits in some jurisdictions, so it's important to provide that information here and hold it in this repository. We provide that specific number here, and in addition to that, we can include the agricultural status, which refers to the classification of a property or land as being used for agricultural purposes. This classification is very important because it can have important implications for property taxes, zoning regulations, and other legal considerations. We always want to assess the appropriate amount of tax, and so properties with agricultural status are typically used for farming, cultivation of crops, raising livestock, and other agricultural activities. We want to make sure we document all of that here in that case. Once all the required information is entered, you save those changes, and then the newly created property will be visible. We have a list here of all of the customer properties created. You can also upload multiple customer properties by heading to the File Manager in the same section and creating a new entry. Instead of what we did previously, we would select a different area. We'll click on File Manager here and click on New. And in our action type, we will look for Upload of the properties. Then as usual, we navigate to our Attachments tab and attach the file containing the property data and upload the property to complete the process. We've streamlined appraisal calculation and data management in this same way. So in the module here, we go to File Manager and create an entry with Calculate Appraisal Percentage. We save the entry, and now we can track the progress and the application ID, and we see those in the list. Our next stage is to take a look at a generated invoice. So we head to an already created customer property, and now we can generate an invoice. Instead of creating a new property, we'll edit a current property. We can calculate the appraisal, and we see the appraisal percentage here. Then we create our invoice and generate and preview the bill as our next step. This is where the invoice is actually generated, and this is what our final tax assessment looks like. In conclusion, implementing SAP Business ByDesign for property tax calculation in the public sector reduces costs, improves customer service, and increases efficiency. With accurate calculations, streamlined processes, and timely communication, it enhances transparency and compliance. Experience the power of SAP Business ByDesign and revolutionize your property tax calculation process today. For any questions, please comment or feel free to reach out to Phoenix Business Consulting.